Welcome to Green Road Pottery. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cup. I'm going to go through the steps fairly quickly. I start off with 0.85 pounds of clay. First you want to center it, and when you're making a cup you want to center it into a tall shape because you're making a tall cup. So after it's centered you're going to open it fairly tall and deep and pull it out towards you just a little bit. Then you pull up the wall once. You pull up the wall again. Then your last pull is to shape it. And then you trim it. And then maybe add some decoration. I always like to add a little bit of decoration. Alright, then you cut it off. So there you go. Alright, so now I'm going to take you through the steps slowly. So you start off with your 0.85 pounds of clay, put it on the center, push it down to make sure no water gets underneath your centered piece of clay. Get your hands wet. You're going to press down with your top hand to get it stuck. Then in with your outside hand to bring it up. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to go down with your top hand. See, I'm relaxing with my left hand. And then in with my left hand to put it back up into a cone. And you just want to go back and forth just a few times, and each time your clay gets a little bit more centered. Right? Now with the cup, you want to push down in the center with your longest finger with just a little bit of pressure back towards your body. And that keeps your finger right in the center. And you want this fairly steep because you want to keep the clay from going out. Now I'm just curling my finger just a little bit and pulling towards me. So I go down like that and then curl just a little bit. I'm not doing too much with my outside hand except just guiding the clay real lightly. Alright, and now the key to making your wall taller on a cup form like this is you want to pinch just a little bit, right? And then you want to hold that and slowly bring that up. So I'm pinching just a little bit and slowly bringing it up. You don't want to bring up too much at once. See, it's starting to come up. And then relax when you get to the top. Sometimes people tend to slip, right? They'll go like that. So if that happens, tip this finger up. So you're pressing up here, and that keeps it from slipping off the top. And after that first pull, your wall is nice and thick. So you can actually take your hand and just compress that again just a little bit to keep it nice and round. All right, get your hands wet again. And I'm down here. I'm making a pinching motion. Right now, I'm that thick. Now I want to go to that thick. So I'm just going incrementally, just a little bit at a time. So I pinch it just a little bit. And I'm applying more pressure with my outside hand, so I'm actually pulling that in. I'm taking that little lump and slowly bringing it up. All right, so let's take a look and see what that looks like. Right? So I've taken a little bit here, and I'm slowly pulling it up. And see, it's going to end up being like that if I would have continued. Right? Then the next pull, you're going to go in a little bit more and slowly bring it up. You don't want to go up too fast, or else your pot will tear. So now, of course, I need to start with another piece of clay. So I'll get another one. I'll go through the steps and get to where we were before. So remember, I'm pressing down and then in. Down and then in. And then down until it's nice and centered. All right, I'm going to open it. Remember, longest finger, a little pressure back towards you, curl it, just till it's open. Right, just curl it just a little bit. Right, on my first pull, remember I'm going to pinch and slowly bring that up. With a little bit more pressure, I'm trying to pull it in, trying to make a cone out of it, because as it's spinning, it wants to go wide. right? And then maybe I'll compress the lip just a little bit. And then I'll go in and I'll do it again. Remember, I'm pinching a little bit, and then really, I have a lot of tension in my hands, but I'm not pushing really hard. I'm just keeping them really tight, right? And I bring it all the way up. Compress the rim just a little bit. Right, so after 2 pulls, you can be there. If you need a 3rd pull, that's okay. Every time you touch the clay, it's getting weaker and weaker. So you want to touch it as little as possible. So let's say I need to do a 3rd pull, so I'm going all the way down. Notice how I'm keeping my thumbs touching, so I know exactly where my fingers are. So I'm going to pinch just a little bit and slowly bring that up. All right, so I have the height I want. One thing that's good to do if you're making lots in a series is use your hands as your measuring tools. So I know that it's about there, right? So about the height of my finger is going to be how high my cup is. So now if I'm always going to about the height of my finger, I know all my cups are going to be about the same. Or if I say, well, it's about like that, right? Your width maybe is always like that. So always use your hands to be a guide of how tall you're going to make your pieces, because that's the easiest way to measure. So maybe I'm going to press out just a little bit here at the bottom because I want it to go out just a little bit. That helps me get my foot. And I'm going to trim this after it's dry, but for right now, I'm just going to use my wooden tool and go under. And what this does is it creates some dry clay. It creates a little bit of an undercut, so it makes it easy for me to grab if I want to pull it off the wheel. Of course, I have this on a bat. You don't have to use it on a bat, or if you're not using a bat. And I often don't use the bat for something that's so little, or pull the whole bat off. So instead, I'll cut it. Right? And then since I have that little bit of undercut, I can tip it. Right? Like that. Now that one got a little off, but that's okay. Normally, if I get something that's a little too round, I give it a whack anyway. So let's just go through that one more time. Ready? Down. In. Down. In. Down and centered. Open. Curl towards me. Curl my finger towards me. Pull my wall up. Compress my rim. Pull my wall up. Compress my rim. Pull my wall up one more time. Compress my rim. Notice I didn't get much water that time. You can throw it really dry if you want to. That helps keep it a little bit stronger, but it takes a really delicate touch. All right, and we'll trim it. And this one I'll add some decoration to. So I like to divide them down the middle. So notice I have my hand inside supporting the back of my wooden tool. I'm going to draw a line, like that, and then maybe on this one, right, I'll do something like that. Seems nice. If I want to, I can square it off. Square it off. Square. Square. I'm just going to the corners of my bat. Right. And if it makes your rim a little bit uneven, you can go back and just compress that real gently. Cut it off. Tip it to break the tension. Pick it up. There you go. All right, well, here are the 5 cups that I made. I only showed you a few of them, but I also notice how they're all relatively close. That's because I started with exactly the same amount of clay for each one of them. I used my hand as a guide to get my heights and my widths approximately the same. And you can see how they all have turned out. Now, if I wanted to make these into a mug, I'd pull a handle and I can add a mug on. In fact, most of my cups that I sell at my shop were supposed to be mugs, but the handle just never got on, so then they became cups. So there you go. Feel free to leave me any comments, write me any questions. I'm happy to make any shape that you want to see. Till next time. Thanks.